I've never made serious New Year's resolutions because I'm the type of person that once I get an idea, I want to do it now. I don't want to wait till the 1st of January to try it out. But lately I have been reflecting on what makes up my opinions and all my beliefs. And I've been prompted to kind of dig deep in there and have a look around because I realise that a lot of my prejudices, my biased um, feelings about certain people, certain things, have actually stemmed from a historical kind of background. And therefore, they've been introduced to me, shall we say, rather than something that's been formed from my own experience. Now, I would say probably about 85% of the beliefs I held dear, the ideals I had, were really grounded on other influences outside of myself. And it's been drawn to my attention somehow that I need to look at those. I've decluttered a lot of things in physical boxes, got rid of those, but now I'm looking at the stuff that I carry around in my mind, in my belief system, that I need to declutter as well. Because a lot of those old beliefs were formed back in the day when things were quite different. And they don't really fit into my lifestyle now or even how the world has changed. They just don't really matter anymore. So it's a good time to reflect, I think. And reflect is what I'm doing. Now, as a bit of a backstory, my grandfather was born in 1898. So I spent a lot of time with him, and he came from a background where his parents came from Ireland, immigrated to New Zealand. So he had the influence of them on him. And he also, at a young age, went to the World War One, fought in that in Egypt, and returned, had a family, had my mum. Now, because I spent a lot of time with him, and he was a bit of a character, a lot of the things he said influenced me. Now, it would be a very long video if I explained it all, but suffice to say, he came from a background of horse and buggy. He built his own car in his house, and when I say car, I mean it was the chassis and the motor. It didn't have a body. And he had to knock the wall of his little house down to get it out because he hadn't thought that far ahead. So when I say he's a character, he certainly was. But he lived until the 70s. And he saw the space flight, the invention of TV, all that sort of thing. So you can imagine the telephone. He saw a lot of change. Now, my own self, I've seen a lot of change. I mean, the internet didn't turn up, and when TV arrived, we used to sit and watch it absolutely in awe. Whereas now, I don't even bother with the TV, but I do rely on the internet a lot for information, etc. So you can see, when you get to an older age, you look back at your life and you see how you've moved forward with technology and inventions and changing your living circumstances like he did. You form opinions yourself through your experiences, and you are affected by those around you. And not just my granddad, but others as well, of course. And in my own life, I experienced trauma, and my reactions to it and my behaviour patterns from that caused me to be a certain type of person. But I no longer live with that threat of trauma. So therefore, they're obsolete now. those feelings I had, I don't need them anymore. I can kind of put them in a box, if you like, and declutter and start moving with the times. Real history is important, and I think that it's valuable. The true history, not the winners' um, recording of it, shall we say. I've always been nostalgic and sentimental, hence why I had boxes and boxes of stuff that I'd kept over the years because they all meant things to me. But I realised when I was decluttering, when I was downsizing to live in a camper van, that really no one was going to see the same value in those objects that I did because I had a memory attached to them. So what I had to do was think about what really mattered and what didn't. Now, I've put it this way, that I felt that handing on a lot of those things to somebody else to get pleasure out of was far better than being stored in a box because I had a sentimental attachment to it. The other thing that I've thought about recently is just very few items I've still kept and got in storage. I'm going to repurpose them, and when I build my gypsy caravan, I'm going to repurpose them into something useful. They won't have the same original shape, but they will be there. Now, I think that probably a great thing about the digital age is that it's far more sensible for me to record the object and to tell my story about it so that future generations who will look at this thing and say, what the heck was that? And chuck it out, are going to know what it represented. It will no longer be in the family perhaps, but at least they will be able to see something that I had and who it came from and some of their backstory. So just like this YouTube channel, it is a great method for keeping alive people's hereditary stories. Is that the right word? Their genealogical background. So as a genealogist myself, I've stored a lot of stuff over the years, and that is my wish, to record these things so that future generations will have them. So therefore no longer any need to keep them all, but the only thing that concerns me, of course, is that in the event of something catastrophic, we're going to lose all our information. And that's the one thing that does concern me. Even though I have a backup drives, etc., if the backup drives fail as well, then where are we? I feel that way about books. I love reading a physical book. This, what happens when all the books are gone and it's only digital? Bit of a worry. As a child, whenever I asked a question, it was always followed, when the answer was given, was why. And I was relentless and still am. If someone tells me something, especially if I feel it's a little shocking or a little strange, I'll say, why? Why? Because quite often if you ask why, you'll get an answer. Now if it's a truthful answer, 9 times out of 10 it'll make sense. But if it's a lie, you'll be asking another question because it'll not add up. It'll seem strange to you. As we get older, we get told to put away childish things. But I think it's important to retain that curiosity that a child has and to question everything around you. Don't just accept it. And that's what my reflections have done on my feelings and thoughts about a lot of things, is to ask myself, why do I hold that belief? Does it still carry any merit now? Should I still be thinking that way? Because we are now living in such a strange age and exciting age in many ways, that it's time for us to put away the childish things, but to retain that childlike curiosity and try and fit in with the world. When I say fit in, I mean welcome it and work in it, not against it, which a lot of times I've been rebellious and working against things, but not for the right reasons. So I'm questioning my reasons now, and this is doing me some good. I haven't got there yet, but I've noticed it and I'm looking at it and I'm asking questions and also saying, but why? And I think that's important to remember. So, my dear friends, thank you so much if you've got this far listening to my thoughts. And I hope you have the greatest of New Year's. And I wish you all much health, wealth, and happiness, as always. Thank you so much for everything you give. I really, really appreciate you. So until next time, bye for now.